All right. So, good morning, Mr. Ankit. Just for the audience here, Mr. Ankit has already done a webinar with us on the same topic itself. This is a part two of the series itself. So, just to reiterate and reintroduce yourself to the audience itself. So, Saurabh Ankit here. He holds 3 degrees, so it's like very diverse. All three of them. So he's earned a B.Sc honors in zoology, and then he's done a specialization in sound and music production, sound design and music production. And after that, he switched over to law. He did his LL.B from OP Jindal Global University and recently graduated from the 2024 batch. So Saurabh, if there's anything that I missed over, would you like to add on to your introduction itself?
No, I think you covered pretty much everything that I've been through till now. But yeah, it has been an amazing journey. As you said, it's diverse. I've met people who have been in different diverse background, and it has really helped me of becoming the person I am right now. So yeah, it's great.
So just to kick off the webinar, I'll be asking you my first question. So what habits from law school have helped you become the lawyer that you are today?
I think to kick it off, the first thing that is very crucial and something that every student going through the journey of becoming a lawyer in the law school should have is talking. It's like you just need to communicate your feelings. You need to be able to do that. The more you are able to do that, in the fluency you have in doing that, whether it's your feelings in your head, in your heart, whether you're just expressing your emotions, or it's something that you read online and you're discussing it with your friends, having that circle, having that atmosphere where you can communicate, and you can learn the process of communicating your thought to other person's head. That I think that is something that every student, every law student should have, and that is something that helps me every single day, whether I'm dealing with clients, whether I'm dealing with opposite counsels, whether I'm dealing with judges. It is something that is always going to help you if you're going to be in this profession. The second thing, which will help, the first thing is reading. You should read as much as you can. It can be judgments, it can be articles, it can be reference papers, it can be research papers. Reading gives you the knowledge that you need to argue, that you read, you analyze the language that you are reading. Maybe in a judgment, you read how the judges write it, and then you try to incorporate it in when you are explaining your words to someone else. You think how a judges think, and how they try to dissect things and explain their point of view. That is something that every law student, everyone who is getting into litigation, everyone who is getting into the courtroom must know. I think this is something that law school definitely teaches us. When you are doing, especially when you have a curricular like general, when you have group projects, when you have you know presentations, where you have research papers that you have to write. These things really help you in a way of making you something that you really want to become. But then again, only if you do it honestly. If you're getting your way past it by using some sort of means, maybe using AI in some way or the other. I mean, it definitely helps. I have also used it in my law school, but then again, not making it a part of your exercise is something that I would suggest, because you need to be able to do it on your own. When AI is not helping you, it won't help you every single time. So this is something that lots of law students are going through right now, the transition phase of doing work and assignments manually to shifting to AI. But I think keeping it manual is a little difficult in law school, but it will help you for your life. When you are in litigation, it will definitely help you. When you get a case file of reading, let's say 2,000, 5,000 pages, AI won't be able to help you in that, in taking out the minute details that you need to take out. But if you do it manually, if you know how to do your research, it's going to help you. It's as simple as that. Yeah.
So just to reiterate your point, I think reading is like one thing that I realized from whatever you have spoken about. I think reading is something that is equally important in, I think, every field that way.
Yeah.
So I think if you don't read enough, then you don't know enough, and then you can't implement it also further.
Yes,
So
definitely.
in life as well. So just to, so my second question to you would be, if miraculously, if you could go back to law school, is there something that you would do differently?
I mean, a couple of things for sure. The first thing will be, I would like to start reading judgments from my first semester itself. Uh, when we are being taught case laws in law school, most of us have an habit of just going through the pointers of the presentation that the teacher shares with us, and reading, not reading the whole judgment. Let's say, for example, one of the most important judgments in law school is case of Nanda Bharti judgment. It is almost 998 pages, 1,000 pages. very less number of law students go through the whole judgment, but the people who go through it, they know the importance of reading the whole judgment, how the judges have dissected it. And so it all comes back to this. When you start reading, and this is something that not a lot of law school students do, not only in Jindal but all around it. When I talk to students, when I have interns coming over to, when I ask them, they're like, I don't read the whole judgment. I go to India Kanun website or some Google search and then just read the pointers and go through it. But that is something that I would have done. The second thing is, uh, especially in a university like Jindal, when you have electives, a vast diversity of elective that you can choose from. I would choose electives which would not just give me credits and good marks, but something that can help me grow my personality in a way that I want to. Let's say I want to go into IP and I want to do trademark and patent. I think there are numerous number of electives that Jindal offers that you can choose, and which will help you, grow your mindset and, go in a particular direction if you want. But then again, there comes a point where students are not really sure till their final year that what they want to do. Then you have the option of exploring as well. But I would suggest, what I did, one mistake that I did was I chose a couple of elective on the basis of the reputation that the teacher will give good marks and attendance is not of such great importance. But that can help you in becoming what you want to become if you choose the right electives. I mean, there are great professors. For example, I had an elective from Professor Manveen, and he taught standard essential patents and competition law. And just sitting in the classroom, it was so energetic, it was so interactive. It taught me lots of things, and how to deal with certain kind of things when you're doing law and when you're doing litigation, that I'm using right now. I may not be using the subject of matter of the course, but then I use the techniques of how he used to teach. So I think that is something that law students need to focus, that electives are not just for the sake of credit, but you can learn something from it which will help you when you get into litigation, and whether in corporate or in litigation, doesn't really matter. And the third thing that I would change was, I wasted lots of time doing things that doesn't really matter. I mean, when you go to a university, you get your chances, you explore things, you do party, you do everything, and that is all fine. That is all part of the curriculum. You need to grow yourself as well. But then again, drawing a line between where the fun is ending and where you are just wasting your time. I think that is something that everyone needs to know, whether it's law school, whether it's any school. It's like you have to draw a line between, this is what I need for my refreshment. I think this is something that I talked about in the first interview as well, that you need to draw a line that, this is where I am going to enjoy myself. And this is now getting now just wasting of my time. So I should, draw a line here. These are the three things I did. If any student does these three things, it will be more than enough for anyone to, enjoy their life as well. I mean, college is not only about education. You should enjoy, because after getting into litigation, I mean, right now I only get Sundays where I have client meetings and some other things. Monday to Friday is court. You have to be there. You have to be in the office. Saturday is mostly client meetings. I have today's schedule after lunch as well. You get one day in which you have to do everything. So law school, or maybe any school you are getting before the job, is the only time when you're going to get to enjoy yourself. But then again, drawing a line is very important.
I think that's exactly, as I would just, come back to the point that it's very important to draw the line, as you said before, because in general, I think it's very easy to, go into the other side of the whole thing. So, I mean, that way also. So, shifting to my next question. So in, law school, you get all theoretical things and maybe some practical things as well. So, what kind of challenges do young lawyers, face as soon as they get into practice?
See, the first thing is, if you have done your research work promptly, you know how to do research. This is something that any student going through a law school phase who is studying law should know. If you're not doing your research diligently, if you're not doing your own research, maybe for research papers, maybe for assignments, see, Jindal has a curriculum where they give you case laws in their course manual and you study that. That is great. That is great for getting the knowledge of the subject matter. But when it comes to real field, you should know how to get case laws which is relevant to your case. And for that, you need research skill. This is something that is very important. And, just pointing out to the keywords. Now, it all comes down when you're doing your research, it all comes down to the keywords that you're using from any case that you have. For example, I was just going through a case yesterday where my client has been accused by the complainant that he was doing rash driving and he killed someone apparently in that accident. Someone died and lost his life, and this was a whole mess. The High Court has convicted my client. Now we are going to the Supreme Court. We just filed an SLP and we are drafting, going through that. Now, when we are looking for case laws, we look for certain key points that cover our whole case, and then find out the perfect case which matches our description. So it's like you have to know how to dissect your cases. You have to know how to take out those keywords. That can also come from the classroom experience. Most of the teachers I have seen in Jindal, they do this kind of thing. They don't tell you to read the whole judgment, but they fill out some pointers, some extracts from the judgment, and they tell you that this is the important part of the judgment, you should go to it. Now what students should do is read those important pointers, pick out the keywords, and then use that for research purposes. Let's see, I'm being taught in a class where something is going on. Let's say a case of murder is going on. Now teacher is giving us a case law in classroom and they have different pointers. This is the case that we have to study for the course manual. But then you should try to do a little research on yourself, that if I am in this scenario, let's say this is not the case I'm going through, if I want to give any other case in the courtroom, how would I do it? If I am presented with this situation in a courtroom in front of a judge, how would I present it? So for that, two things are very important. The first is research. Definitely, you should know what you have to speak. You should know what the judgments are, what the guidelines are, and how you can present it. And the second thing is definitely your verbal communication skills, which I mentioned earlier as well. It's like you have to know certain things to be able to communicate, but if you know what to communicate and you're not able to do that, then it's also a drawback. It will be of no use, because courtrooms are more about expressing your emotions, expressing your concerns, expressing your values, expressing your ideas to the other person's head. That is the opposite counsel, that is your client, that is the judge. You have to talk to everyone and put your point of view to their head, that this is how it happened, not what the other counsel is saying, not what the other person is saying, but this is how it happened, and you have to present it. For that, you need amazing communication skills. And I think Jindal has something. I think Jindal has that capability of providing students with this kind of platform, that people are able to talk. They have the numerous number of seminars and events going on throughout the year. Now there's Trial Advocacy Society, which invite guest lecturers and stuff like that. So it's like you can learn from them, but then you have to be attentive. You have to see what the other person is doing. If there's a guest lecture on campus and they're teaching you something, you're not just there to listen to what they're saying, but you're to listen to how they are presenting it, their ideas. I was one in a TAS seminar in which a senior advocate, Tanveer Ahmed Mir sir, was there. He was talking about the Arushi Talwar murder case, one of the most famous murder cases that went wild. And he was discussing some of his pointers of how he integrated the witness in the courtroom and stuff like that. So it's not only about what he questioned to that person, but it's about how he is explaining the whole process. That will tell you, that will give you a certain idea of how you need to do it. So when you're listening to someone speaking, when you're listening to someone who has experience in this particular field, you're not just listening to what they are saying about a particular topic, but you also have to adjust and accommodate on how they are presenting it. That is something that will help you in future as well, when you are going through when you are dealing with client. Maybe one of the most difficult challenges when you come out is dealing with your clients. Sometimes you will have easy clients which will talk up, which will give you everything that you need, and it will be easy as it goes. Sometimes you get clients who doesn't want to talk, who doesn't want to give you anything. Now the process of taking out information from those people comes from these small events, when you try to listen to people and you listen to how they are going about it, how they are communicating, how you feel connected to them when they're talking. So it's like you should pay attention to these small details from the very beginning, which will help you when you come out of law school. You will have certain experiences, especially in a college like Jindal, when they have numerous number of guest lectures throughout the year. So if you're attentive enough and you listen to it carefully, you will learn a lot of things. Yeah.
So, I mean, you have also been you've been like a first year law student in Jindal only. So, according to your personal experiences that you have, faced and you have, experienced, as I would say, in, your first year itself, what is something that you have realized is, someone could have told you in your first year of law only? Maybe you can give a first year law student an advice of the same thing.
I think So a couple of months ago, I was in Karkaduma Court in Delhi, civil court, and I was talking to a senior advocate. His name is Mr. Panda. I don't know his full name. I was sitting with him, and I was just asking him for the same tip that, being a young lawyer, getting into litigation, what would you suggest for me to do to be able to excel? And he gave me a point blank answer that, I talk to several people every day. I get interns, and I tell everyone one simple tip that they should follow. When you are reading sections, when you are reading Bare Act, let's say you are reading Indian Evidence Act, let's say you are reading IPC, anything, make a habit of reading 5 sections every day. Just do that for every day for your law school for a couple of years more. After that, you won't see the difference right there and then, but then a couple of years later, when you go down the lane and when you see the difference will be there, and it will help you really good when you're standing in a courtroom. That reading 5 sections every day will help you generate a personality. When you know the sections you are referring to in court, it will not always help you that, you will be allowed the bare acts and you can turn the pages and you can read it out. But when you know something inside from your heart, and it's not, you don't have to memorize it, you just have to read it. You have to read it and try to dissect it. You just do that for your law school, and when you come out, you will be a different person. I mean, that is one of the things. There are several other things. For instance, the one thing that I said earlier was reading judgments. That is also very important, because you have to understand how the court is working, how the code works, how it's the mental capacity of you and the opposite counsel combined together going into the judge's head, and then he has to understand the points based on evidence that is present on table. Those are things that would matter later, that what is the evidence in the particular case or not, but how you present it is very important. It all comes back, it's run litigation is running circles. It's like everything is connected to one another. So you have to have some habits. Reading is something that I have been talking about for a long time. Reading. I didn't do that. I wish someone would have told me in the first year, start reading. That is something I would have done. Reading judgments and reading sections, I think that is more than enough.
So, just to get a little more personal, is there something that you would give a first year law student also an advice about how to, survive Jindal in general only?
See, Jindal is a place where you have fun, you have bad times, you have good times, you have good teachers. Sometimes you will not get the teachers that you want for a particular subject, but then you have to go through it. You cannot be dependent on anyone for any particular thing. You have to be able to survive and sustain. Let's say you want a professor for a particular subject, and you're not getting it, and the professor who is teaching you don't like the particular process of their teaching, the methods that they are using in the classroom. Then what is the recourse that you have? You can't leave out the classes, because then you will be short on attendance. So what you have to do is you just have to get into the practical part of it. Let's say if it's a law subject, it's very easy. If it's a law subject, you just need to understand what the law is about. You have other subjects going on, you have other professors going on, and Jindal is a place where professors are so helpful. Even if you're not liking one single professor who's teaching you something, you might go to another professor that I want to see your help in this particular thing. No professor says no. I have never heard no from any professor's mouth in Jindal till now. Wherever I go to any single professor, so reach out for help, ask any senior. People are there to help you, but you need to go to them. Professors are there to help you, but you need to go to them. And I have seen this environment in general, when you go to someone to ask for help, and if they're able to do it, they will do it. Whether it's fun, whether it's education, whether it's internship, whether it's job offers, whatever the capabilities are, but you need to be able to understand what do you need help with, and then you approach to the right people. And for that, you need to understand what you really need. So for instance, the example that I was saying, that if you're having difficulties in one teaching methods of one professor in a subject, you can ask help from another professor, that this is one of the topics that I don't understand, can you please help me with it? And I'm very sure there are professors in Jindal who would really help out. They stand in the middle of the field, in the cricket field, and teach you stuff. I've seen that happening. I've seen professors sitting in a flagpole and teaching students. So it's like you have to adjust according to the environment. People are there to have fun. There are fests. Okay, one of the most important thing in Jindal as well, which will help you, is being a part of fests, student run fest. They let you have connection with lots of people, which will help you out in a way that you never know. You make connects, and for one example, I there was another alumni named Piyush Vyas. He was the one of the founding members of the Trial Advocacy Society. He was from the 5-year course, And we never had a one-to-one interaction physically on campus, but we had a couple of mutual friends. Now, when we came back to practicing, he's also practicing in Supreme Court and with some other senior, and I'm also practicing with some other senior. So the senior he's practicing with were looking for some musicians for some Supreme Court event and stuff like that. And out of nowhere, I received a call from Piyush that, look, my senior was looking for reference and I gave your name. So talk to her. I was like, okay. With that particular phone call, I got to an event where I was playing guitar with Kapil Sibbal and other very eminent people and stuff like that. So you never know how it might help you. Making connections is something that is very important in your college life. And Jindal provides you that, diversity of people from different backgrounds, from different places around India and world, where you can get your connections, and that will help you in some way or the other if you know what you're dealing with, how you're dealing with. And then again, the thing that I said earlier, you have to ask for help, but you have to know whom to ask for help. You can't go to the wrong person. You have to identify what you need help with, and you need to go to the right people, and it will be worth it. So yeah.
So just moving forward with the question itself now. So I would say, I mean, law has become a very excessively competitive field now, over the years. So how do you deal with the rejections as well as the setbacks that happens in your field only, in your profession itself?
I think the first thing that we need to learn and understand is we should not let cases get emotionally connected to us. You know, on a single day, almost every day, we are running to 4 or 5 different courtrooms, running to different judges for different cases, and there's all clients. There might be a chance that one of the SLPs might get rejected, your client might get jail or something or the other. But when you get connected to one case and it let you impact your brain and your head and your emotions, it will impact the other cases as well. So one of the things is you can't let that happen, that a certain outcome of one single case might affect your brain that in a way that it will get impacted on the other cases. When you're dealing with a case, you spend so much time on it, you give your everything, you are working days and nights preparing for the case, and it might just get rejected in a couple of minutes. The judge might not even want to listen to you. But then you can't let that get to you, because then you have to represent other client in another courtroom. And if this is getting, if you, inside your head, you will not be able to perform in that courtroom. So it will become a series of action, and then you will drown in it. So the first step would be, do not get emotionally attached to the cases. It's very harmful. And that is why people generally don't take cases of their own family and friends, because you get personally and connected to it, and then the result outcome, if it's not in your favor, it's going to be a little different than what you expected. The second thing is, uh, when we go to courtrooms, as lawyers, we think that the judges are there to teach us several things. As lawyers, you are never, you can never say that I've learned everything. You are there to learn. Even senior advocates who are 70, 75 years of age and who have been practicing from 25, 30 years, they listen to what the judge is saying, and they are not there to, you are wrong, I am right. They listen and they are learning. This is a profession in which you never stop learning. You have to keep learning every single day from every experience that you encounter, whether that's from a client, whether from a different counsel. When you're in litigation, you talk to several advocates every day in different courtrooms. You go there, you just say hi, hello, and then you listen to people talking in the background about several other case, and you have to, just be present there. And it's not that difficult, but then you have to learn about how to talk to people and how to incorporate what they are saying, and you have to be present there, and you have to be able to, to be in the mindset that I'm here to learn. Especially fresh graduates who are getting into litigation, we don't know anything. So one of the see anything, I mean, practical knowledge and theoretical knowledge are very different. They are way different than what a student can expect. Law litigation is nothing like what we have been seeing in on televisions and movie series. It's very different. Okay, so you have to be able to be in the mindset that I'm here to learn. If it's that, and the thing is that you're not letting anything get into your head, the outcomes of the cases, and you're there to learn, you will survive, you will thrive. That's it.
In relation to my previous question only, is there any myth that is attached to your profession itself that you would like to completely, let go of and make people realize that is actually a myth?
I think there are lots of myths in the law profession. The first of all would be, I think all lawyers are rich. No, it's not that. It's certainly not that. I see when in Jindal there's a culture of having introductory sessions in the beginning of the semester, and lots of people, a lot of students used to say that I choose law because I want to be rich, I want to earn money. It's not true. If you're getting into litigation and if you don't have a family background, if you don't have that supporting, it's going to be very difficult for you. I might tell you the reality, the ground reality, that when you're a fresh graduate and you don't have any backing on your head of a prominent person, when you go into litigation, you give interviews and you get jobs, the fresh graduates hardly get paid 10, 12, 15,000 a month. You're coming from Jindal and then you're coming to reality and you're getting this much paid, then you have to adjust accordingly. So if you're saying that you choose law for money, then I think you should think again, because that is a real myth. The second myth, which I talked earlier as well, the legal work is like what you see in movies. No, it's not. It's certainly not. Lots of people said in my introductory class, I remember that I joined law because I saw Suits and I wanted to become a Harvey Specter. It's nothing like that. It's not even 1% of that. It's very different. The things we see in movie, Tariq pe Tariq, the famous dialogue, judge would throw you out of the court and start a contempt proceeding against you if you do that in the real courtroom. It's not practically possible. These are all, people think that law is fun, law is, you can earn a lot of money and you can, shout on anyone. It gives you power. It doesn't. You have to be responsible. You can't use that, there's a myth that I have a high court sticker on my car, so there will be no challan and stuff like that, but it's not like that. You have to be a responsible citizen. You have to follow the law as well. And one of the most important, I think, common myth is, when even I was in law school, I used to think that being a lawyer means constantly arguing in the court. It is not. It is not. Let's say you are dealing with one case and you have 10 different dates of that particular case in one financial year or in 1 year, let's say from January to December. Chances are you will only get to speak for a couple of minutes in 2 or 3 of the dates. The other dates will be adjourned. Someone will take the next date for some day or the other. And then the dialogue comes in Tariq pe Tariq pe Tariq pe Tariq, but that's how the court works. There's nothing you can do about it. Someday the judge will not be available. Someday the roster is so big that the judge has to take, let's say, 115 cases in a day. They won't be able to complete each and every case. So the number of cases in the bottom of the list might get, adjourned and the next date will be given. So it's not like you are a lawyer, you are arguing every day in the court. Most of the days we sit in the court wasting our time. We are waiting for a matter to come and the judge just leaves like next day. Okay, we can't do anything about it. I think one other myth that was there, I think when I was in law school, I used to talk with friends, and this was a common question that everyone used to have, that uh, once you are a lawyer, your learning days are over. You become a lawyer and then you just go to the courtroom, you argue, and you earn money. It's not that. It's simply not that. It's a long process. And when you get into litigation, it's certainly very long. Corporate is a little different, but then when you're talking about litigation, you have to have that learning phase of 4 to 5 years after the law school. And there you can't expect to, have your own clients, have a lot of money. It all comes with phases and stages of life. But, these are some of the common myths that I think every law student thinks about. I will be arguing, I will be having a lot of money and stuff like that. But yeah, this is not true.
I think a lot of people will have ground reality stuff in their face now. But yeah, I think it's better that, you already go into this profession with your eyes wide open. I think that's better. In any profession in that matter, I feel, going into a profession because of rumors or myths that you've heard, it's going to become like when they break, I think it's a very disheartening sort of phase then.
Yes.
So I think it's better that you go into a profession with your eyes wide open and you take all the information that you can get from every person that you can contact. As you said before, networking is contacting people, networking. That's a main purpose of getting into a profession also. So coming to my next question, what are some of the litigation skills that are a must have for a lawyer, as well as the most intriguing case that you have faced till now?
Okay. So I think when you talk about skills that some lawyer have, I think what we talked about earlier was legal research. one needs to know how to do that. And not just legal research, but legal research combined with analysis, the analytical part of researching, that you need to know what exactly you're going to pinpointing in the courtroom. So you have a judgment, maybe I give you a judgment, you are supposed to go for this case and this is the judgment you're going to cite, but you don't know which part of the judgment to cite, what will be in your favor and what will be not in your favor. It's like for you to decide. If you're having, let's say you have a judgment which talks about your case and everything is in your favor, but there's something, the facts of the case are a little different, and that will change the scenario of your present case, and maybe that case will not be applicable to your present case. So legal research with the analytical ability to analyze the whole judgment, and is this as actually applicable to my case. The second and the most important skill, I think, outside the courtroom that you must have is drafting skills. The ground reality, again, I'm not talking about the myths and everything. The ground reality, when you come out into litigation, and when you are joining a firm, when you are joining a senior for who is practicing the Supreme Court or any other court, they want their associates to be able to draft. They will give you drafting work from the very beginning and research. They will not take you to the courtrooms in the first few months or even a year. They will just let's say you have to take a date. You know that my case is listed on 120th number in a court, and the case is not going to be taken up. They might send you to take the date for the next day. You start with that, but from the very first day they will be given research work and drafting work. So that is one of the most important thing that you need to do outside the courtroom to be able to suffice in this profession. Drafting is something that takes time. It doesn't come overnight. You have to practice, you have to keep practicing. You can start with a legal, as simple as legal notice, then you can move to little difficult applications, then SLPs or writ petitions. It comes in stages and forms. You can't just think that I will get out of law school and I will start drafting an SLP. It's going to be different. It's going to be difficult. SLP is something that needs your complete attention and knowledge, that an SLP is something that is going to the Supreme Court. When you talk going to the Supreme Court, everything needs to be perfect. So for that, you need to know the whole case. You need to know the actual factual matters of the case. What has the judges below the Supreme Court, the High Court, the Session Court, the District Court, what have they laid down? What are the reasons they have given? And how are you challenging that in the Supreme Court? It is all relevant. And for that, if you're doing the drafting, you need to know each and everything about it and how to present it. And drafting is something that, no one can teach you overnight. You have to keep practicing again. You will make mistakes, and you won't even realize that. Drafting is that one thing that you would think that I am doing great. This is the draft I have made is it's perfect. It can go to the court. But then you give it to your senior, you submit it, and then they do the corrections. Then you see it again and you're like, oh, I could have done this, I could have done this, I could have done this. And then you learn from there, and then you try to put those things in the next draft. So it comes in phases. That is something that you need to do. The third thing is, I think, oral advocacy, which I stated previously as well. Courtroom presence and clear communication. You need to be able to communicate what you want to say, but for that you need to be present in the courtroom as well. You need to listen to each and every line what the judge is asking. See, judges are very what do we say, I don't want to use any particular word, but they don't give you the liberty of expressing your feelings as you want. They will ask you a pinpoint question and you have to give that pinpoint answer. You can't make a story. You can't turn around things and come to that conclusion. No, they will ask you a simple question and you have to give a simple answer to that simple question. They will ask you whether this document is filed. Show me the page number. You can't say, my lord, this was not filed because of this reason. No, you have to say, sorry, my lord, that is not on record. It's as simple as that. So you have to be present in the courtroom. You have to listen to each and every word what the judge is saying and what the opposite counsel is saying. Because when it comes to rebuttal and when it comes to giving your written arguments, when you're opposing the counsel, you need to be able to understand what he's saying. For that, you need to listen. So you have to be a good listener. Only a good listener can be a good speaker in the courtroom. If you're not listening to other people, you can't speak. It's not a one-sided case that is going on that only you will speak and the judgment will come. No, you have to listen to the other party. You have to listen to the questions that the judge might have and then answer it accordingly. So oral advocacy, courtroom presence, clear communication skill, that is one of the thing. And I think when this comes, it comes combined with strategic thinking as well. I mean, you have to know litigation is like chess. It's like the opposite party is making one move and then you have to make another. It's all strategies. And if you're not able to intercept what the other party is going to do next, it's going to be difficult for you to answer it. So you have to kind of think a little ahead of what you are doing than what the other party is going to do, and then you have to be ready for that, because it might take you to surprise in a courtroom and then you won't have the answer for that. So when you're going to a courtroom in a case, and you know the stage of the case, that this is the stage where the case is right now, you have to know what the other party can do. So for that, what you do, you think of yourself as an advocate for the other party. You think, that is my client. If I would have been there in that advocate space, what would I have done? And then you plan accordingly. You be ready with your swords, but you also have to be ready with your shield. It's like that. And I think there are lots of different skills that goes, uh, but for fresh graduates, I don't think lots of things really matter, because you learn everything eventually, day by day, day by day, day by day. These are some things that you have to have. But then let's say client handling is something that is, uh, you can say, is not taught in law school, in any law school across the country, I think. And that is something that no one can teach you, because every client is different, their mentality is different, their way of speaking, their way of communicating is different. Some clients only trust their lawyers who have been working for them for 10-15 years. Even if you're sitting as an associate with that particular advocate, they might request your senior to just throw them out. I want to talk to you only. So it might be the case. So client handling is very important in this profession. You have to deal with your client, but then again, you have to know when to say, when to speak up, and when to just listen. Sometimes the client is not there to listen to you. They are just expressing their concern that this is happening. And you might not always know the answer. I mean, if a client is sitting with me right now and he's telling me this certain case has happened, I hit someone in the road with my car and he's dead, I ran over him, and now what should I do? I don't know what to do right now. I have to think of it. I have to strategize it, how to, take things forward. But then you have to listen to the complete story. Then only you can come to the conclusion of, let's proceed this way, this particular way. These are things that will come with time. When you enter the profession, when you meet people, this will come with time. And apart from research and drafting is something that goes outside the courtroom. When it comes to courtroom, you have to know the procedural mastery, the procedural code, the CPC and CRPC. CRPC is now changed, but then you have to know what the procedure of the courtroom, how a certain thing goes, when can a person speak, when can you not speak, what is the manner in which you have to speak, when you have to pass an application. Let's say I'm not willing to argue today. I don't have the certain facts or evidence with me which I require to argue that particular case. How do you seek adjournment? Do you talk to the other counsel beforehand, one night before the case, that let's seek a common adjournment so that the judge won't get angry? Because if other counsel is pressing that, I want to argue right now, he is taking adjournment, what is this behavior? This is wasting time of the court. This happens in a courtroom every day. So it's like these skills you learn with time, that you have to understand the process of how the court works. What is the role of clerk in a courtroom? What is the role of the court master in a courtroom? These are things that you learn when you visit court. Let's say you're doing internship with a litigation lawyer, and you're visiting court. You're not just there to listen to what your senior is speaking about, arguing. You are there to understand the courtroom's environment. You are there to understand, if you're giving an appearance in the slip, that I am present in this courtroom, if your senior is giving it, who is he giving it to? Where is he putting the appearance? Is he giving it online? What are the process of different courts? So even giving appearance in different courts, different tribunals have different techniques. Filing has different techniques. See, there are lots of things that a clerk does. There are different roles of people in a law office. Clerk has several roles. Advocate has several roles. But first generation of people who are just coming out of the law school and getting into this profession, they should know everything. They should know the work of a clerk as well. They should know that if you don't have a clerk and you have to file a case in the court, you should be able to do that. And that is again something that you learn with time. But then again, if you're working in an office and you prepare a draft, your senior prepared a draft, and then hand it over to the clerk that file this case in this particular courtroom. Now the clerk will do everything. You won't be required to help him with anything, but you should be able to just stand there and watch what he's doing, how he's doing it. You should be able to take initiative, that please tell me how to do it, I will do it. These are the things which help you in one way or the other. Let's see, for example, uh, So there's a process of filing applications in courtrooms. Let's say a tribunal, let's say NCLT, or let's say any courtroom, district room. There's a process of filing an application that, this is how it's supposed to be filed. First, you have to do the e-filing on the e-courts website. Then you have to give the diary number on the physical filing, and then you have to submit in the court. This is the whole process that goes on. Now, let's say your other party who has not serviced you on email, they have filed it, but they have not serviced you. On the next date of hearing, you can just make an objection that, my lord, I was not served with this. I don't know what he is giving to the courtroom. It can't be improper that way giving to the courtroom. Every document that needs to be filed needs to be serviced to the opposite party beforehand. Then only it can be filed. If you know this process, you can object to it. If you don't, you can't. You will have to accept it. So it's like you have to know the whole process of a courtroom from the very beginning, filing of the case to the judgment. You have to know how it goes down. So that will definitely help. I think this is something that, these things are something that covers everything that pressure that someone is getting into the litigation from the very beginning should know. The rest of the things, the rest of the skills will come as it is, as you go on in litigation. Yeah. And coming to your second question, I think it was one of the cases that I've been intrigued by. I mean, it is actually related to a case that a question to you asked. How do you come take setbacks and stuff like that? So I was in a courtroom and I was arguing a matter. It was related to property. It was a property dispute, and I was with my senior. I prepared the whole draft. I worked for I think 7-8 days for that, days and nights continuously, and the other party was certainly rich, and they had Mr. Kapil Sibal arguing for them. Our SLP was dismissed in 3.5 minutes. Our advocate, the senior we had, tried to argue, and the judge was not inclined. In 3.5 minutes, he made all the possible points that he could have made, and then the SLP was just dismissed, and the judges just put the file away. He turned back. He was like, sorry. And he asked his junior, okay, which is the next? Give me the file. And he moved on to the different court. It's that. It's like he's not concerned at all. He gave his best when he's standing there. He argued whatever he can. But once the file is set aside, you take another file and you go to another courtroom. It's like I was just awestruck with how he can, someone's work of 7, 10, 15 days, someone's home of 50 years is getting destroyed, but that doesn't affect the advocate. He is going to fight another case because someone else's house might also get destroyed if he's not there. So it's like I was just awestruck by this process. I was also very confused. How do you get, back when something like this happens? Then I saw him, I was like, okay, let's get back and work on another case. Let's see how that turns out. That is something that really, really, really intrigued me inside the courtroom.
So from whatever I've heard, I think this profession is very, very rigorous. I mean, it's something that I knew before also, but you saying about whatever you giving your personal touch into, your exploring your cases and explaining your cases itself. So I think that gives the personal touch. And so since it's a very, what do you say, demanding job, so how do you manage stress that way, and how do you manage your work-life balance as well?
I think it's important that you have a hobby that is alive inside you. It can be painting, dancing, music, anything at all. Anything at all. It can be reading magazines, anything at all. But you need to have your mind refreshed when you go back to the courtroom and when you go back to the office. You need to be present there. And for you to be able to do that, you have to have your mind refreshed, and that can only happen in a way by doing things that you like. Some people like to sleep. That's also fine. You can go to sleep, not in the middle of the work, but you go back from office, you shut down your laptop, you're like, I don't care about anything else right now. I just want to sleep. Some people, like for me instance, I go back from work, and if it's a stressful day, I just put on some music. I sit on an instrument, maybe drums, maybe keys, maybe guitar. I just play for half an hour, 45 minutes, and I am refreshed. Then I'm ready to deal with the next case. It's like you need to have a coping mechanism inside you that, if I'm going through a bad phase, a bad day, this is something that will refresh my mind. And it shouldn't be something that takes a lot of effort, a lot of time. It should be simple as, you can do it in half an hour or an hour or something like that, because you won't have a lot of time in this way. Litigation is a difficult job. It's, as you said, it's rigorous. It takes lots of your time. You won't, and for the initial years, you won't have a choice of, maintaining a proper work-life balance. But then again, here also you need to draw a line that, work is fine, learning is fine, but I need my mental peace. I can't, just let that go away. This is where I draw the line that when this scenarios come, I need to take a break. I need to do this for my mental peace, and then I'll start back. Again, you have to know your boundaries. Till where can you push your brain and your body? When you know it's time to take a break, take a break. It's as simple as that. And it can be anything you love to do. You can even talk to your parents, your friends, your partners, whatever relaxes your mind, whatever relaxes you can do that. It's like not a big deal of, see, courtroom setbacks and maintaining a balance in this profession is very difficult in a few initial years because you won't have your own clients. You will be working under some senior advocate, and those senior don't want to work. They will give you the work and you have to do that, and that is the only way you will learn as well. If you are going through that rigorous work of 12-14 hours a day, you will learn those things, and 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the line, that is the thing that will help you. So you have to be there. You can't, just have escape from that, but then you have to have a coping mechanism. That simple.
I think having a hobby is like, again, you said resetting the mind is very important if you have such a rigorous and a very demanding job that way, because it takes most of your mental space. So I think having a hobby is, and I think it's a pretty good way to, unwind also. So just to conclude this whole webinar and all, do you have any final thoughts that you could, if you have any final thoughts that you have on the topic itself?
I mean, one thing that no one says, or you have heard before or not, I don't know, but if you're coming into litigation, make up your mind that I'm going to give my 100%. If you're not able to do that, it's not going to work for you. If you're here just to be there for the sake of it, that I want to try it, it's going to be a little difficult. When you are there with your 100% presence of mind and I want to do it and I will do it, it will take a few years, and you have to be, able to give that 100% for a few years continuously without taking a break. It will be worth it. You will be there, but then those years of 100% commitment is very important. Otherwise, it's not going to work in the way that you want to be, because you see, anything that you work on, maybe it's a client experience, maybe it's drafting, maybe it's research, the more you do it, the better you become. It's like it's you have to keep doing it. And once there is not 100% commitment that, okay, I'm going to office at 9 o'clock, I'll be free by 5 o'clock, I'll come back, I won't do any work after that, it will be a problem, because other people who are competing against you are doing 5 to 10. Maybe they're going back home and they're working and they're learning more. It's not about how much they're working right now, it's about how much they're learning more than you. So if you're not giving you 100%, you're not learning enough to be, to sustain in this environment, because it's rigorous and it's competitive. This is the only job in the world where you stand against another person who is there just to defeat you every single day, and you meet several of them every single day. So if they are giving more than you, if they are giving their 100% and they're learning more, you will have a little setback in this particular thing. So if you are there, if you want to do litigation, I trust me, it's worth it. When you're in the courtroom, you feel that rush inside you. You know that your client's fate depends on what you submit in the court. You know what you can do in the courtroom. You can get justice for someone. You can do lots of things, but that it all comes down to you being there 100% and giving you 100%. Otherwise, it won't be worth it. Litigation is something that builds a reputation over time. If you're not giving you 100%, that reputation will never be made up. And for you to be able to do well in this profession, you have to have that reputation. Courtroom is not about all about face value. Uh, Litigation, people start litigation with a mixed signal. If you don't know where you want to go, most of the people, me as well, I wanted to go to criminal litigation. I wanted to do criminal litigation because I grew up seeing CID and crime patrol and stuff like that. I was amazed. I was like, I want to do this. But the reality is, when you come to litigation, you dive into whatever opportunity you get, and then you make your way through it. You swim through the wave and you make your way. And you might never know. I always wanted to be a criminal litigator, but now I'm doing 90% civil cases. So it's like, don't make up your mind in a certain way that I will only do this. Keep an open mind when you come into litigation, and give your 100%. Give your time, have the time. Draw the line of where you are wasting time and where you are, enjoying yourself. Draw the line of where you need your mental break piece and where you need to learn, working on learning, and just be there for a while. Just keep patience and work out.
Right, Saurabh, thank you so much for connecting with us, and you have given some real insights into the topic itself. So yes, thank you so much, and I hope people reach out to you. And I feel you're gonna become a very good mentor. Also, you're gonna mentor them really nicely. I feel. So thank you so much for connecting, and thank you so much for doing this again. Hopefully, we will get in touch with you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's all my pleasure.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.